And so, but for me, I'll just shift a little bit to say, while we've become great at collecting data, for me, as a consumer insights professional, the age-old struggle is still all about, not about how we collect the data, that's part of it, but the second piece, the second struggle is really about how we drive action with the data we collect, with the insights that we derive from that data. And so, I think we need to create opportunities for leaders to hear the insights that we're delivering, after we've collected the data, after we've analyzed the data, and we need to find those insights and get leaders to hear it and get them to internalize it, and then help them find ways to come up with the ideas on how they're going to act on that feedback that they're receiving, whether it's consumer insights or employee insights. It's how do we get them to act on those insights and on that feedback.
I really like what you're talking about, Carrie, because looking back, if we don't act, right? If we don't act, help leaders to be quick to insight, quick to action, we're not fixing the problem of the past. There's a reason for survey fatigue, and it ain't the survey, right?
Exactly.
So
well said.
We have to fix the problem in the rearview mirror called people don't want to do the surveys because they don't see change. And they don't see change because we haven't helped create action based on the data that we're collecting. The second reason why I love your feedback is it's more future focused, right? It's not so much looking in the rearview mirror, it's looking in the highway in front of you. And that is, you can use every technological solution to your advantage and collect data more quickly and less expensively. But if you're not doing anything with it, what difference did that make in the first place?
Change is hard, right? Change is hard. Relatively speaking, collecting the data is the easy part. Acting on the learning or the insights is the hard part. And as consumers, I think about my role as a consumer insights professional. Consumers give us feedback about products, and you were talking about leaders using their leadership or thinking about it as a product. Well, consumers give feedback on existing products and think about all the massive change that has to happen to make change. You've got manufacturing, operations, R&D has to rethink formulas. You've got distribution, the entire supply chain. There are implications to change a product, and it's very complicated. And I think the same thing exists with leaders. As employees give leaders feedback, they have to rethink their approach to their day-to-day role. They have to rethink how they interact with their teams. They have to kind of rethink everything about what got them to the place that they're at today. And so that's difficult. That's difficult. It is really, to rethink and change your behavior. And it takes time and focus and dedication. And so I think change is hard. And just like it's beneficial to change a product so that it can remain on the market and sustain in the marketplace, leaders have to focus on their product, their leadership, and realize the exponential reward that will come from that on their organization and the business impact that can come from changing their leadership product.
Right.
And what's oh, absolutely. And Carrie, I think based on what you're saying, I think another thing that's interesting to me is that, and it's specifically because change is hard, that the onus on the insight that is asking folks to change what they're doing needs to be as tight as possible, right?
Yeah.
And because we're pretty much asking people to act on approximations. And those approximations have to be so credible. And the way to get that approximation to be credible is to get as much varied input, right? And and the ability to get it in a way that's actually that's credible. So yeah, that's so interesting. That change is hard. Hence, make sure that the information that you're providing to people gives them the confidence to act.